to serve northeastern and central Pennsylvania. This is WNEP 16, the news station. Now, Nolan Johannes, Karen Harch, pilot Jack Rulin in Skycam 16, Chief Meteorologist Tom Clark, and Joe Zone on sports. This is Newswatch 16.
Good evening. It's said that paying the tax man is one of two things we must do.
But when it comes to giving refunds, the IRS has sure had its share of problems this year. That's why a hearing was supposed to be held today in Scranton so taxpayers could tell the IRS and two U.S. senators about their frustrations. But that hearing was postponed. Newswatch 16's Mark Annick says the tax mix-up has been very taxing for a music woman who is still waiting for her income tax check.
She filed a joint tax return back in February. Today, 7 months later, she still has no refund. It was February 15th when Joan Davis of Music mailed in her tax form. She thought she'd get her $900 refund pretty soon.
And we had figured, well, 4 to 6 weeks. That was right in the beginning.
But as time went on, so did the waiting, and still no check in the mail. Until late in May, when the Davises got this letter from the IRS saying there was no refund because the Davises owed the IRS $1,100.
What was that like when you opened up the envelope?
Terrible shock. I mean, here you are waiting for a check, and I thought, this doesn't look like a check envelope.
In June, the Davises' accountant sent a letter to the IRS telling them the IRS was in error. Still no check. So the Davises wrote to Washington. In fact, Senators Hines and Specter called today's hearing, saying their offices have been deluged with complaints from people who still don't have their tax refunds. But the hearing was canceled because both senators had to remain in Washington.
So I thought, well, there goes another avenue now, right down.
You can't win with this.
No, we can't. So losing. And like they say, you can't fight the government. They are right.
Well, we called the IRS today to tell them about the Davis problem. Now, the IRS is assigning what they call a problem resolution officer to the case. They now hope to have the problem solved within 30 days. In the meantime, both Senators Hines and Specter say they'll reschedule their hearing. I'm Mark Annick with a live report from the Newswatch 16 newsroom. Nolan?
Mark, that's a long time to be without their rightful money. They will get interest on that, won't they?
They will get interest, but even that money has some strings attached because you see next year on their next year's tax form, they will have to declare that interest, and they will actually have to pay taxes on the interest money that will have accrued while they're waiting for the $900.
Okay, Mark, thank you.
Thank you, Mark. Once again this season, there should be several strains of flu going around. In tonight's Health Watch report, Newswatch 16's Mark Davis tells us about some of the people most likely to get stung and how an area nursing home is getting ready to give the flu fight its best shot.
This is a flu target, a nursing home where the people are particularly vulnerable. A case of the flu here is a more serious case than if it strikes a younger person. So major attention is given to prevention. The staff here at Wesley Village in Jenkins Township is already notifying all residents flu shots are available, and they're encouraged to get one. A close watch is kept on all staff and residents to keep controls on the flu if it does come. Peggy D'Antona is the director of nursing. She says if flu is seen, changes are made in the routine to stop the residents and staff from spreading it.
Not allow them to go to the dining room where they'll be mixing with all of the other residents in the facility or to activities until they're asymptomatic from their condition.
Sometimes during flu season, some homes have to restrict the number of visitors. The reason is not what you may bring out of the home, but rather what you may bring in. Dr. Robert Brown is Wilkes-Barre General Hospital's expert on infectious diseases. He tells me this year 3 strains are likely here, but most strains are basically the same.
The minor changes make people a little bit susceptible, but if they've had that before, it tends to give them some protection. But as long as it's influenza A, it's roughly the same.
But the effects on each one of us may be different depending on what other health problems we may have. Mark Davis, Newswatch 16, Jenkins Township.
Stay with us. With a chill in the air, we're going to tell you what to expect when you see the heating bill.
Plus, we'll tell you about concerns on the farm with this record-breaking cold.
At Midas, we'll meet or beat any competitor's price for a new muffler based on a written estimate. For value, no one can touch Midas.
Introducing a high-performance machine for your office. Canon's NP7550 copying system. 0 to 50 in 60 seconds flat. Automatically shifts to the right paper size. Zooms up and down. Does two-sided copying from two-sided originals and sorting all automatically. That's why Canon's NP7550 is the automatic choice. So step on it. You've got deadlines to meet.
Two names you can trust. Golden Business Machines and Canon.
And now, Pennsylvania Lotto. Dump the balls and mix them clean. Draw the first number.
The real excitement of playing Pennsylvania Lotto is more than just choosing 6 numbers from 1 to 40. And it's more than just watching the jackpot grow. The really exciting part is watching the live lotto drawing and knowing you could win.
Draw the 6th number, please.
The Pennsylvania Lottery's Pennsylvania Lotto game, with hundreds, thousands, even millions of dollars in prizes. It could happen to you.
Last night, we broke a record low temperature for this time of year. It was a chilly 37 degrees. And with that cold, many home heaters were kicking on. Tonight, Newswatch 16's Marisa Burke tells us what we can expect to pay to heat our homes this winter.
The oil companies are very busy this time of year as homeowners get ready for the winter months. Today, Mike Savakinas of Pittston Township gets his oil tank filled up.
Years back when the prices were up, we used to shake before the cold weather came, but it's been good now.
The price of home heating oil is down from what it was in years past, running just under $1 a gallon. The average customer heating a home with oil can expect to pay about $130 a month this winter. Natural gas is also cheaper. If you heat your home with gas, expect to pay on the average about $100 a month during the cold months. The cost of heating a home with electricity is still the most expensive, and expect your monthly bill this winter to be about $20 more than last year, up to $145 a month this season. And if you heat your home with coal, still the cheapest form of fuel, runs about $80 a ton, and during the winter months you burn a ton of coal a month. But the price may go up this year because of the anthracite strike in our area. With any type of fuel, you still use more from October through March.
It would run between 60 and 80%. That would be used during the winter months.
The monthly billing estimates are average figures on what you'll pay for heat from October through March. The fuel companies and utilities are quick to add that those figures could change every month depending upon how cold it gets. Marisa Burke, Newswatch 16, Laughlin.
Last night's record low temperatures meant a close call for some farmers who had to worry about scattered frost damaging their crops. Newswatch 16's Dan Fiorucci reports from Bradford County. The night of cold was followed by a day of low temperatures.
It was a chill summer wind that rustled the corn in Bradford County this morning. On the Vroman farm near Troy, noontime temperatures only reached 48 degrees. At one point, farmers were thinking about harvesting what they could of the corn crop in case of a killing frost tonight.
This here would be ready to go.
The problem is only a small portion of the corn is ready for harvest.
What tells you that that's harvestable? It's standing here.
Most of the corn that is harvestable has been cut and placed into silos as animal feed. But there's a lot of corn that isn't ripe enough to pick yet.
Right now, the corn is about 90% still in the field. And it's the same for other farmers as well. Right.
But even with the chilly midday temperatures, farmers say they aren't worried about a killing frost tonight. One reason they aren't worried is because of the heavy cloud layer that moved in. Clouds act like a lid and hold in heat.
Well, the clouds, if you keep it stays cloudy, you won't get frost.
In some valleys, temperatures could approach freezing. But the farmers we spoke to say a truly damaging frost is unlikely. Dan Fiorucci, Newswatch 16, Bradford County.
Our Chief Meteorologist Tom Clark with his Weather Watch.
Yeah, how about the farmers? Will they have to worry tonight, Tom?
Well, those clouds are going to dissipate. Another excellent chance for frost. Again tonight. When we come back, I'll give you an update on Halley's Comet.
Discover new horizons. You'll find everything that's new for the great outdoors at RV Expo 86, the largest RV show in the East now through Sunday at the Farm Show Complex. More than 450 vehicles on display, all designed for you to get away from it all in style to discover new horizons. RV Expo 86 now through Sunday at the Farm Show Complex. Don't miss RV Expo 86.
Yingling was brewing premium beer back in 1956, in 1919, in 1860, and all the way back to 1829. 5 generations of the Yingling family have been helping America quench her thirst for over a century and a half. What a tradition. What a great beer. Yingling, America's oldest, is still America's best. And that's a promise from Dick Yingling himself.
It's a lot of fun, too.
Yeah.
Now let's go out to the backyard to meteorologist Tom Clark. I guess we'll have to bundle up for all the football games tonight.
I would, Karen. You bet. Just as cold tonight as it was last night. I kind of find this weather refreshing. How about you? I do have people tell me, though, that they'd like to see the hot weather come back. I don't see that happening anytime soon, but it's still not too late to have another heat wave. But outside now in my backyard, it is comfortably cool, wearing wool. 56 degrees now here. The humidity, 50%. The wind still from the north at 12. And the barometer is under quite a bit of pressure these days, 30.43. That is quite high, and it's still getting a bit higher. At a high here today of 59. There is the record, though, 37 degrees. Set just before dawn this morning. The old record was 39. A year ago today, we had a range of 79 and 55. And that was a view today from along the Delaware River, showing High Point Monument, which marks the highest point in New Jersey, at 1,800 feet above sea level. But this morning, for sure, there was frost on the old pumpkin in many areas, not only across a good portion of Pennsylvania, but all across the Great Lakes, and as you can see, a good portion of New England. This area is certainly being hit with some of the coldest weather on record for the second week of September. Got a satellite view coming up next, and it shows some cloud cover out over the Midwest, the result of warmer air being forced to rise up and over the cold air that's blowing in like so. Some very heavy rain out this way. Up to 8 inches of rain fell in portions of Kansas. You can see the bright clouds out that way, but this is the Canadian air mass. It is huge, about 2,000 miles in diameter. It's not going to go anywhere fast through the weekend, so it's guaranteed not to rain right through Sunday. So plan accordingly. Just a very slight warm-up over the weekend, though. Now, this picture was taken from a weather satellite 22,000 miles from Earth. But tonight, Halley's Comet is 237 million miles from Earth. And at that distance, the comet is visible only to those using a telescope at least 6 inches in diameter. So the comet is now located high in the eastern sky about 2 hours before sunrise. It should become visible using binoculars by about mid-November. Now here's your sunrise for tomorrow morning at 6:43, and the sunset now at 7:14. Becoming clear tonight. Frost. If you had frost at your place this morning, it'll probably be there again tomorrow morning. Temperatures in outlying areas dropping down to the low to mid-30s. Beautiful tomorrow. Great for the Penn State football game at Beaver Stadium. Mid-60s. A little bit warmer on Sunday to near 70 Monday and Tuesday. I'm going to take a blanket to that football game tonight.
Okay, Tom, but thanks for the guarantee. Tom's guaranteed forecast. No rain.
No rain
till
tomorrow.
Sunday.
That's right.
Okay, thanks, Tom. The Sports Watch is next with Joe Zone and high school and college football Friday.
Plus, Joe will be looking at Penn State's game and Notre Dame's season opener.
It's summertime saving time, summertime saving time.
It's summertime saving time at your Mazda dealers, and we're dealing on everything. On GLC, 626s, even RX-7s. And during our factory-supported truck clearance sale, you can save hundreds on an 86 Mazda B2000. So come by now and save.
Mazda summertime saving time.
Get a lot of value at your local Mazda dealer today.
Giant Floors Fall Festival of Savings. Dress up your home now with free decorating and 6 months to pay with no interest.
Save an extra 20% on famous Congolian no-wax vinyl floors. These popular floors are ideal for kitchens, dens, or bathrooms. Congolian no-wax vinyl floors, now 20% off.
Take advantage of great savings on everything for your home, including custom drapery. Giant Floors Fall Festival going on now. Don't miss it.
Introducing the new soft drink with 10% real juice. Life.
We got the juice in every glass. A burst of taste in every glass. We got the juice, we got the twist. We got the Sprite and 7 Up and Fizz.
Real juice.
We got the juice, we got the splash. Slice, we got the taste that no one has. All right, we got the juice.
Diet 2 with 100% NutraSweet.
Friday night, that means football. How many high school games do we have tonight, Joe?
40.
40.
Wow.
We'll have them all the scores, all the highlights. A little different, this year in the Wyoming Valley Conference. They've broken it down into 3 divisions, and so there are a number of crossover games. That's what we've got at Wilkes-Barre Memorial Stadium tonight, where 7th-ranked GAR in Division 2 plays Wyoming Valley West in Division 1. Tim Carlson is at the stadium, where they're getting ready to go. Timmy?
Joe, I'll tell you one thing. I talked to Coach Jim Fennell of Wyoming Valley West just a few minutes ago, and he said he's not worried at all about the fact that it's Friday the 13th. He thinks that'll have no effect, and he's not superstitious, and neither are his players. What they're going to have to do, both clubs, is play a very good football game, because both these teams coming in tonight in this interdivisional play are 2-0. Last week, GAR defeated Crestwood 21-7, while it was Wyoming Valley West defeating Pittston-Area 21-0. In that GAR Crestwood game last week, as we take a look, it was Jay Kubicki getting the Grenadiers off to a start here with the pass to Ken Wigopolsky for the first score of the game coming in the second period, and it was 7-0 GAR. And then the defense took over for the Grenadiers. Just 2 plays later, Crestwood quarterback Bill Chesna sacks. He fumbles the ball. GAR's Andy Macko picks it up, goes for the touchdown. The Grenadiers led 14-0. They led 14-7 at the half, and they went on to win that ball game 21-7. Tonight here at Wilkes-Barre Memorial Stadium, they have to give the edge as far as upperclassmen to GAR. They do have a few more than Wyoming Valley West, but maybe size-wise, Wyoming Valley West is just a bit bigger. It should be a good one. We're looking forward to it tonight as our number 7 team, GAR, goes up against Wyoming Valley West here at Wilkes-Barre Memorial Stadium. And of course, we'll have the full report tonight on the sports final at 11 o'clock. Joe?
Thank you. I was going to say that, Tim. 40 games all total on the scoreboard. We'll have the score and the highlights on the sports final. Hey, is Jerry Faust going to get the axe this year? It's the last year of a 5-year deal. If he doesn't win 8 games and go to a bowl game, I say he's history. They open tomorrow at Michigan. It's a toughie. Last year, they blamed injuries for the so-so season. This year, they start out healthy with Heisman Trophy candidate running back Alan Pinkett.
One, your team has to have a spectacular season. You personally have to have a spectacular season, and I think consistency is the key there. And also there have to be a couple of miracle plays, and I think one that comes to mind is Doug Flutie's play against Miami. You have to have those type of things, and you have to stay in the public's eye every week and have a great performance every week.
That was Pinkett. Steve Berline, the same quarterback. The Irish have had the past 2 seasons. He completed 60% of his passes. He's a good one. I like the Irish to win in a squeaker, 26-24. Penn State coach Joe Paterno has been saying all week his football team is not very good and that, his kids don't play better than they did last weekend against Maryland. They'll lose. Temple coach Bruce Arians isn't buying Paterno's poor-mouthed bit. Arians says Penn State is an excellent football team. As you look at some of the highlights from that GAR game, I am picking Penn State to win tomorrow in the home opener over Temple by 7. Also tomorrow, Pitt will be playing against Ohio State at Ohio State. And I like Ohio State. They're ranked ninth to win that game by at least 7 points, too. All right, the St. Louis Cardinals beat the Cubs this afternoon to put the pressure on the Mets again. Take a look at some of the early highlights in that game. Again, St. Louis and the Cubs early on. Cards batted around in the first, score at 3. McGee knocked in Coleman 1-0, and Cedeno knocked in McGee to make it 2-0. They go on to win this afternoon 9-3. Let's go to the scoreboard in the National League and see what it looks like. St. Louis wins 9-3, moves to within a half. The Mets are playing a try-nighter. They're losing 2-0. They could be out of first place by the time everything is over. I'll have highlights and everything tonight on the update. And the Yankees can move to within a half of the Blue Jays. Phil Niekro goes for career win number 300. I doubt he's worried much about this Friday the 13th date. 20 years ago, in May, on Friday the 13th, Phil Niekro won his first ever Major League game. That's all of it. Give tonight your best shot. See you on the sports final.
See that? It's lucky for some people, right?
Hoping for some little luck tonight.
Okay, 40 games. All right, Joe.
Thanks,
Good
Joe.
luck.
Newswatch 16 continues with black cats, broken mirrors, and walking under ladders.
And if we're all lucky, we'll all be right back.
doesn't taste like American beef. It's too smooth to be American.
Tastes imported, but it's America's own. Genesee 12-horse ale.
I think it's better than the Dutch beer.
Pomeroy's Super Sale is here. Now through Saturday, come shop the super event that happens only once a season. Super Sale soaring with super savings of 25% or more throughout the store. Super Sale soaring with super values on name brand merchandise. Current fashions, bestsellers, and basics from Pomeroy's regular stock. Super Sale, an extraordinary event with big dollar savings on the items you want for your family and your home. Super Sale. Nobody offers you a super sale like Pomeroy's. Now through Saturday only at all Pomeroy's department stores. Don't miss it.
And five. Morris.
I thought she was dead.
I'll be like you after my wheat germ.
Wanna bet?
Have to eat right. Oh, I've got something good for you, too.
Who says I need improving?
Good things like chicken, fish, liver. It's 9 Live Super Supper.
Super supper? Oh, I could stretch to the bowl.
Now the Morris calendar. Free with purchase. Details in Sunday's paper. From 9 Lives.
Finally tonight, so far so good. Let's see, about 5.5 hours left. Let's hope our luck doesn't run out. In case you haven't looked at the calendar, today is Friday the 13th. And if you're superstitious at all, you've probably been a bit on guard all day. But as Newswatch 16's Bob Reynolds found out, for some people, superstitions are serious business.
The legend of Friday the 13th has been around for generations. For some, it's just another working day, even if it means working on a high roof. For others, Friday the 13th reminds them of superstitions about walking in the path of a black cat, stepping on cracks, and not straying underneath a ladder. But how seriously do people take the 13th?
That's Friday the 13th, I remember. Came down with an incredible infection and ended up in the Mercy Hospital emergency room and had to be carried out of a meeting I was attending at that time. So Friday the 13th always has a bad feeling for me.
I'm superstitious, but not about Friday the 13th.
But there is a serious side to superstitions and how people can get hung up on them.
I had a patient who would have to count telephone poles. On his way to work to Harrisburg from Scranton, he would count telephone poles. And if he missed counting a telephone pole, he would have to come all the way back and recount, start the trip over again, and go all the way back down to Harrisburg.
But Dr. Anthony Galdieri says some superstitions, such as having a favorite pen, can be healthy.
Sometimes a superstition is a method or a coping mechanism for a person to reduce anxiety and tension.
Apparently, superstitions are deeply embedded in our society. For example, this major office building has 13 stories, but no 13th floor. The elevator goes from 12 to 14. And some experts say until society's attitudes change, superstitions will be around for generations to come. Bob Reynolds, Newswatch 16.
Nobody's superstitious on this team, of course. Where's my pen? Where's my pen?
I have to hold on to mine.
Oh, here it is. All right, that's Newswatch 16 for Friday.
Be sure to join us tonight on the update for 16 Sports Final.
For the team, thanks for being with us.
Enjoy your evening.